What is up, Karatics? In this video, I'll be top speed drag race testing the new Grotti Itali RSX versus the top 5 sports cars. So yes, this car is in the sports class, not in the supercar class. Keep in mind that this track is perfectly flat, therefore the results are not the same as testing it in the city or on a highway where the speed is different. All the cars are fully modified. Also, as newer cars release, the positions of these cars may change. If you're wondering why certain sports cars are missing, that's because they were too slow on this specific racing surface to make it into the top 5 list. The timestamps for each car will be in a pinned comment where you can select exactly which races you want to see. I will also summarize the results and provide my overall opinion on the Itali RSX at the end of the video. Hope you enjoy.
Okay.
Alright, so according to the testing on this perfectly flat track, that places the Grotti Itali RSX in 4th place out of the 73 raceable sports cars currently in game. So that's actually very fast, up there with the top sports cars that are extremely fast. In terms of handling, it's not that great. I've done some races personally, and from what I can gather, it lacks the downforce at high speeds to be able to stay on the ground in bumpy situations. And at slow speeds it understeers quite a bit coming out of corners. In my opinion, the GTO and the Pariah still handle better, and they are also faster in a straight line as well, as you just saw. But anyways, we compare it to the car in 1st place, which is the Pariah in terms of top speed. The Pariah is an absolute monster as usual, with its abnormally fast straight line speed. Now if we compare it to the car ahead of its position, which is the Itali GTO, you can see they are very close in terms of acceleration, but when it comes to top speed, the GTO is just faster. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the GTO also handles better in my opinion, so it's still a better overall car. And if we compare it to the car below its position, which is the Vysser Neo, you can see the Neo stays pretty close throughout the entire race, which is pretty impressive. But again, the RSX still wins the race by a couple car lengths at the end. Now if we compare it to the fast accelerating sports car in the class, which is the Neon, you can see that the Neon gets a pretty decent lead on the RSX, but it catches up to it a little after the half-mile mark, which is very impressive. And just for fun, I threw in a race against the Coquette D10. Now unfortunately, the D10 is one of those cars that require road imperfections like a highway and bumps to go faster, so that's why it's not as competitive against the RSX in a straight line on this specific surface. Now let's talk pricing and whether or not the RSX is worth it in my opinion. The RSX has a price of about $3.5 million, and it has a trade price of about $2.6 million. Now if it was in the supercars class, I think it would sort of make sense. Most of the top supercars in that class are very expensive, but in the sports class, not so much, especially since it's still not the fastest one. The GTO, for example, which is still the best overall car for sports races, costs about $2 million, which yes is still very expensive, but it's just a much better deal in my opinion for a car that is a lot faster in basically every way. So overall, if you're looking for performance and hoping the new RSX would be the new fastest sports car in terms of top speed and have new amazing handling, it's unfortunately not that great. And therefore I don't recommend buying it unless you want to have a very expensive sports car that doesn't handle very well and should have been placed in the supercars class with better handling. Anyways guys, remember to keep in mind that positions of these cars may change as newer ones release. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.